Cleopatra VII, Zenobia, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and Boudica. The end of the four legendary queens. Cleopatra VII, Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, ruling Egypt from 51 BC to 30 BC. Cleopatra's goal was to preserve Egypt's independence amidst the encroaching power of Rome. One of her major victories was the Battle of Alexandria in 48 BC. Cleopatra bidding to leave a lasting legacy, she invented an early version of the vibrator to show that she could even conquer hearts with a buzz. Cleopatra faced her downfall, not on the battlefield but within the halls of her palace. After a series of defeats against Octavian's forces, the future Roman Emperor Augustus, adopted child of Julius Caesar, she faced the humiliating prospect of being paraded in Rome. Choosing her own fate, Cleopatra took her life with a venomous asp in 30 BC. After her death, Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire, marking the end of the Ptolemaic kingdom. Next we have Julia Aurelia Zenobia, the Queen of Palmyra, boldly challenged the mighty Roman Empire during her reign marked by audacity and cultural flourishing. She fancied herself as the next Cleopatra, aiming to build an empire that would make even Roman senators blush with envy. From 267 AD to 272 AD, Zenobia ruled Palmyra with grandeur, overseeing a cultural renaissance that melded Greek, Roman, Persian, and Egyptian influences. Around 270 AD, Zenobia expanded her realm to include Egypt and parts of Asia Minor, positioning herself as a liberator of the East. Her notable triumph came at the Battle of Emesa in 272 AD, where her outnumbered forces held off the Romans for a significant period. However, Rome, led by Emperor Aurelian, viewed Zenobia's ambitions as a threat to its supremacy. After a series of intense battles, Aurelian's forces captured Zenobia. Her ultimate fate remains somewhat ambiguous in historical records. Some accounts suggest she was taken to Rome in golden chains and faced a symbolic defeat during Aurelian's triumph. Other narratives hint at Zenobia living out her days in relative comfort as a Roman captive, possibly in Tibur, modern-day Tivoli of Italy. From the deserts of Palmyra, we journey to the heart of India, where Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi emerged as a beacon of resistance against British colonial rule in India. With her sword in hand and her infant son strapped to her back, she rode into battle like a fierce lioness. Her leadership during the 1857 Indian Rebellion was legendary. Lakshmi Bai turned Jhansi into a fortress of defiance, rallying her people with an indomitable spirit. Despite her valiant efforts, Jhansi fell to the British. One of her most remarkable battles was the Siege of Jhansi in March 1858, where she held her fort against the British for weeks. On June 17, 1858, Rani Lakshmi Bai fought her final battle near the village of Kotakesari. The British forces had her outnumbered, but she led her troops with fierce determination, fighting bravely on the battlefield. During a desperate charge against the enemy, a bullet struck her. Though wounded, she refused to retreat, continuing to wield her sword and inspire her soldiers. Bloodied and weakened from her injuries, she finally dismounted her horse. Kneeling on the ground, her breaths grew labored, and her vision began to blur. With a final, defiant gaze towards the sky, Rani Lakshmi Bai passed away. We turn to the misty lands of ancient Britain, where Boudica, the formidable warrior queen of the Iceni, led a fierce revolt against Roman occupation in ancient Britain around 60-61 AD. With her fiery red hair and unyielding spirit, she became the embodiment of British resistance. When the Romans seized her lands and brutalized her family, Boudica's response was swift and brutal. She raised a formidable army and orchestrated devastating attacks on Roman settlements, including the infamous sacking of Londinium, modern-day London. However, the tide turned at the Battle of Watling Street in 61 AD, where the disciplined Roman legions, led by Governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus, finally managed to crush Boudica's rebellion. Boudica's end remains shrouded in mystery and legend. Some accounts suggest that she took poison to avoid capture by the Romans, while others believe she succumbed to her battle wounds shortly after the defeat.